There's a really powerful idea that came out of a recent conference in Tamil Nadu. It's a proposal that's pretty radical, honestly. It aims to completely transform the Indian state as we know it. This whole vision is drawn from a book called Make India a Full Federation, and believe me, it challenges the very bedrock of how India is put together today.
Okay, so let's just dive right into the heart of it with this central question. It was posed by one of the speakers, P. Meniyarasan. And he asks, why is it that in Tamil Nadu you even have to make this demand? Why is it considered, as he puts it, a state of shame to even have to say this out loud when in so many other places it's just obvious, it's a given?
All right, to really get what they're proposing for the future, we have to first understand their diagnosis of the present. They argue that India's current system, well, it isn't what it seems, and they've got a specific name for it, the quasi-federal problem.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The way they frame this term, quasi-federal, is super important. For them, this isn't some kind of clever compromise or a unique hybrid system. No, they see it as a deception. It's like calling bronze gold-like. It might look a little like gold, but it is absolutely not gold. It has the outward appearance of a federation, but all the real power is centralized, just like in a unitary state.
According to their argument, this whole deception starts with the very language in the Constitution. You look at a name like the United States of America, and the word state there clearly means a nation, a sovereign entity. But then you look at India, a union of states, and they claim the word state has been deliberately watered down to just mean province. It's a move, they say, designed to shrink the identity and sovereignty of the very regions that make up the union.
So how is this central control actually maintained? Well, they point to a few specific constitutional tools. They see the governor's post not as a ceremonial head, but as an agent of the central government. Then there's Article 356, which lets the central government just dismiss an elected state government. And a big one is the concurrent list, the subjects that both the center and the states can make laws about. They see this as a trap, because if there's ever a conflict, central law always wins. So it's not really cooperation, it's a tool for control.
Okay, so that's the problem they've laid out. Let's move on to their solution. It's a concept they call a full federation, and it's a world away from the usual demands you hear for just state autonomy.
And this distinction is absolutely crucial. Their vision isn't about states asking, or as they put it, begging a higher authority for more power. They throw that whole idea out. A full federation completely flips the script. It's about sovereign nations deciding to come together as equals and pool very specific powers, not as subordinates asking for favors from on high.
And you might think this is just a theory, but they point to a real-world example of this principle in action, the long-standing political position of the Naga people. Their principle is, we are ready to be with India, not within India. The difference is subtle, but it is profound. It's about being a partner, not a subject.
The Naga model, which they cited, really makes this idea of shared sovereignty concrete. Look at what it means in practice. In their negotiations, the Nagas have called for their own constitution, the Zabo, their own flag, even their own army for internal matters. And under that framework, they would only agree to share power with India on a few core things, like currency, transportation, and foreign policy. This is the kind of blueprint they have in mind for a full federation.
Now here's where the argument takes a really interesting turn. To justify this vision for the future, the speakers say it's not some new radical invention. Instead, they argue it's about reclaiming a very old, and they claim intentionally suppressed, Tamil history of how to govern.
Their argument starts with something they see as a deliberate wiping of the historical slate, right in the classroom. Get this, they point out that in the entire Tamil Nadu state curriculum, from 6th grade all the way to 12th, the thousands of years of history of the three great Tamil dynasties, the Cheras, the Cholas, and the Pandyas, is all squeezed into just 22 pages.
22 pages. Now, to really drive the point home, they contrast that with this number. Over 70 pages in the same curriculum are dedicated to the history of the British, who were there for just a fraction of the time. For the speakers at this conference, this isn't some accident or oversight. They present it as clear evidence that their own history of self-rule is being deliberately pushed to the margins.
Their historical claim gets even bolder. They even argue that one of the most ancient and respected texts on statecraft in the world, the Arthashastra, actually has Tamil origins. They point to clues, like its mention of the goddess Kumari, and that the Sanskrit word for village, gramam, comes from the Tamil kamam, as proof that it was written in the ancient Tamil Cherry Kingdom.
But the real historical blueprint for their federal vision is the administration of the Chola Empire. They describe it as a system that was built from the bottom up.
not dictated from the top down. All the power started at the most local level, the Ur, or the autonomous village, and it then federated upwards into larger and larger councils.
And this, right here, is the crucial part of their historical model. The smallest unit of society was sovereign over its own local world. The village assembly managed essential resources, land, water. It wasn't some distant king. This local body even had the power to punish corrupt officials. It's this idea of true local power that they believe has been lost.
So, when you bring all these threads together, the sharp critique of the present, this bold vision for the future, and this deep dive into the past, what is the ultimate message from this conference? What's the bottom line?
For the people who advocate for this vision, this is so much more than a debate about constitutional law or changing administrative boundaries. They frame it as a fight for survival. It's a struggle, as they say, to reclaim a heritage of self-governance that they believe was stolen and to secure a future where their own distinct identity can actually survive and thrive.
And that leaves us with this final, really thought-provoking question that sits at the very heart of their entire proposal. In our fast-moving, modernizing world, is looking back to an ancient model of governance really the best way to move forward? It's a huge question that challenges us to think about the nature of nations, of history, and of progress itself.